Talent can be developed through hard work, good strategies, persistence, dedication, and input from others. Where focus goes, energy flows. So focus your energy on continuous learning and stop wasting time thinking about looking smart. Build resistance, build vulnerability, build courageousness, and face adversity with a smile. Become comfortable with uncomfortable. You know, the only person that you need to prove anything to is you. Imperfect action trumps perfect inaction. Stop wasting time and get on with it. Failure is part of learning, so start learning by taking action.
Kristian Livolsi, we are back. It is Thursday. This is the hot seat. How is your week going so far?
My week is going really, really well. Obviously, we had a phenomenal event in Sydney for 3 days, and we absolutely crushed it. People got, by their own admission, an incredible amount of value, probably too much value. In hindsight, Simone, we probably could have done less. I mean, my philosophy was let's just go on longer. But unfortunately, there was a lot of tired people already by Saturday, let alone the people that pushed all the way through in our mastermind until Sunday night. I know that at the airport, all of us were flying out kind of the same flights back to wherever we came from. And I was just watching people. I didn't go to the lounge. I stayed down with everybody and just watched people. And it was kind of very funny. But yeah, no, the week's been good. Had a bit of a chest infection and stuff, but we'll power on. Hence why I'm working from home today. And by the way, I'm not intentionally, for our listeners, I am not intentionally standing behind this very large painting that seems to be in the correct place for my head, right? And this fry pan. So Graham Marshall painted this. It's stunning painting.
It is quite amusing, though. It does make for a good viewing entertainment that you look like you're wearing a chef's hat.
Quite remarkable art behind me. And it's funny because every time I stand behind this painting, the painting is huge, right? So it's almost like I think it's 1.6 by almost 2 meters in length. And it looks really small when it's behind me. It takes up almost half the wall in this room. So yeah, look, we probably better get on with it. There's absolutely no one watching, according to StreamYard. Seriously, StreamYard, this is a joke because we know there are people watching. So get your software right.
That's it. Yes, definitely. Okay, so last week we put up a poll on LinkedIn and we asked people if they had a strategic plan. So 89% of people said that they certainly do. 10% of people said that they don't. And 1% of people said they don't even know what a strategic plan is. So this is a great topic for us today, and one that I thought you would really enjoy diving into. I've got 2 minutes on the clock. We're going to get straight into this with our first question, and that is, what is your definition of a strategic plan? Let's just get it clear. What actually is it that we're talking about?
Okay, well, let's just, first before I answer that question, let's remember that strategic thinking is the thinking before the plan, right? So therefore, strategic planning has to be a process in which companies or leaders within companies define their vision for the future and also identify the goals and objectives. Now, the process includes establishing a series of sequences in which those goals can be realized so that your firm can achieve or reach the vision that you stated. So some of the critical elements are, obviously defining your vision, assessing where you are at that moment in time, where you want to be, and then determine your priorities and objectives, define the responsibilities, and more importantly, measure and evaluate the results as you're going along. But look, Simone, put simply, because I know I have some time, put simply, a strategic plan is essentially the top 3 or 4 things that you and your team have agreed that the business has to get right in the next 2 to 3 years, right? And in practice, it is a doorway to innovation, culture change, as well as proactive strategies to manage your responses to any kind of change environment. So any kind of black swan event, like we just recently had with COVID. So that's it.
Yeah, that's amazing. You still have 40 seconds, which is really
Wow.
good. And I
I
think
told you today it would be quick because I've got to bounce on a call straight away. I've now got a regular 11:30 call with a client. So these sections have become really succinct.
yeah, I really enjoyed hearing that explanation because I think a lot of people, the strategic plan is something that they would have seen if they've attended like an annual general meeting, or it comes in this really pretty brochure and booklets, and just understanding that it is a lot more than just what you're putting out there and facing out there is really important. Thank you. And we do have a like from someone on Facebook. So thank you for acknowledging that you are there.
Hey, look,
we don't know who you are.
We are going to move away from StreamYard. I think we've already got new software and stuff because we've uncovered that it doesn't really work. So we thought it was us for a while, and we had technicians look at it and they're like, nah, there seems to be an issue. So StreamYard, I did warn you about 6 weeks ago, you are about to lose my $30 a month. So yeah.
All right, let's move into question 2. So my second question for you, and I'm sure you're going to answer this in less than 2 minutes as well, is how often should you review your strategic plan?
No brainer. Quarterly and annual revision is an absolute non-negotiable. But because we like to create momentum and keep everyone on the same page, we do this by creating rhythms. And you only create rhythms by establishing things like daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly huddles, which actually helps you stay aligned and make sure that we meet our KPIs. So, Simone, obviously, and the people that know me well, I'm regarded as one of the world's top strategists. And I say that with sheer confidence because everyone we write strategy for ends up growing at a rate of minimum 20% year on year. And that's compounded growth. So I'm pretty comfortable to make that statement now, and I challenge anybody who wants to grow at that rate to give us a call and have a conversation with a member of our team. But one of the key reasons why we're able to grow like that and stay on top of it is exactly that. And they're not new. Meeting rhythms are not a new thing. I mean, Vern Hainish is like one of the people that founded this concept of rhythms, and Gino Wickman has taken that from Vern and made it. And guys like Kerwin Ray talk about rhythms. Like everyone, like if you want to actually create any form of momentum in your organization, be it an organization of one or many, you need to be communicating to yourself and your team daily. But more importantly, you need to be communicating the right things. I mean, I interviewed Dr. John DeMartini. What an absolute buzz that was last week. And that's going to be dropping on the podcast, our first podcast for 2023. And he made a point. You've got to look at your priorities every single day. If you want to be and have more, you need to be looking at your priorities every single day. And it's incredible because we started talking about rhythms in business, and he was like, that's exactly what you're doing. So that's why I always say now, if you're an organization of one or an organization of many, it's the same.
Yeah.
That should be my time.
It was your timer. Yes, it definitely was. Thank you for that. And I like how you really addressed at the end that you still have the same process when you're a solopreneur. Because I remember that's something that I used to sit there doing, who do I huddle with? My 3-year-old? Like, what do I do? But it is the same process. You're just keeping accountable to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, Blake would be pretty cool to do a huddle with. He'd be like, yeah, great. Can I have food, Mum? Yeah, cool. Can I get on that bus? No.
Absolutely. Okay, our third question. I like this one. So, it's following a theme. The third question. You know what's coming.
Yep, let's give away free IP. I love it. It's always your third questions are always the same. No, but seriously, Simone, people should not even bother coming on for the first time. They just come for the last question. All right. And if you're watching this on replay, please put #replay in it later, because I'd love to know how many people have actually caught on to. You can listen to the fun stuff, and then you can just come for the last question. And then you probably don't even need to engage me if you collate these over the course of the year.
Bite-sized pieces of information. Okay, so my question is, should a strategic plan be completed in-house or independently?
Well, let me start with this. It's really hard to achieve anything of significance without a good plan. Okay. So be it managing a new initiative, be merging with another organization, or even, dominating your sector and industry. Okay. So whether you inherit a strategic plan or you guide its development from scratch, it's really up to you as an individual, you as the leader, to ensure that it identifies what it needs to be achieved over the coming years and exactly how that is going to happen. So in other words, you must know that it's fit for purpose and focused on future. Okay, so now that we've got that clear, I therefore always encourage people to engage an external strategist. Now, not a facilitator, really, really different. You got all these accounting firms, you got all these people out there that claim to be advisors. Okay, yeah, they're advisors in planning, right? And planning is not strategic thinking. And this is the common mistake people make. And then they wonder why, but I did all the things that I needed to do and I never got anywhere. Yeah, of course, you listened to the wrong people, right? One, you hired facilitators or you hired your accountant. Accountants have a place. I mean, I work with 20, 30 different accountants across all the companies. I've been asked to be a partner in accounting firms. I don't have a CA or a CPA. I'm not an accountant. But what they're identifying is that there's no strategists in these firms, right? Strategists are really hard to come by. I know a handful in Australia that I would happily recommend if I was busy. And that's about it, a handful, okay? Now, the key here is that you bring in an external person who actually does the strategic thinking with you. They're going to give you insight and foresight. They're going to give you that best helicopter view that you and your team can't because you're in the trenches, right? So if you're going to spend any money, don't spend money on marketing. Don't spend money on hiring a really good strategist to come into your business, spend 3 or 4 days with you, not half a session or 10 minutes. And look, the little people that are watching might be saying, but that's really convenient for the companies that can afford you that are turning over 50 million bucks. Yeah, that's true. But what do you think we built Evolve for? We went out and built Evolve as a strategic framing tool for smaller businesses under, $2 million and even in that startup phase, because it's a small commitment. But sure, you're not going to get a strategy written for you in one session, but you're going to get it over the course of an entire year. And we're going to build the rhythms and the processes. I mean, I know I just went into a fucking advertorial when I just swore, apologies. But, we just became R-rated like in 1 second. But no, look, the reality of it is I'm passionate about this. This is something that it really drives me crazy. I hear it all the time. Companies that call me from tech, the Executive Connection, I've got a really cool network in Australia with those guys. People call me and they say, we've been working on this project for 10 years and we can't seem to get the growth that, your former client or your current client told us to call you. How do you get these results? I'm like, and when I look at and I do an inventory check, I'm like, you've never actually hired anyone externally, or if you did, you hired a marketing company or an accountant. I'm like, no, yeah. It's different advice. Don't be fooled. So my opinion is always absolutely bring in someone external, but don't bring a facilitator or an accountant. Bring in a strategist, someone who actually knows, right, and has a framework for you to use. Yeah. Because most of these people also don't have any frameworks. They ask you a series of questions and then put them into a document and go, here's your 25-page, really glossy, pretty. I mean, Simone, how big is my my framework that I use for Evolve and then the one we use for our bigger clients?
Huge.
But how big is it? It's like
one page of what you're getting. Yeah. But it's hours of work in 1 page.
Yeah, and everything is distilled to the minutia, right? So because they're strategies, they're not budgets, right? So that's it. I'm not going to go because I'm going to be.
That's a really important thing to consider as well. Is that when you're so in the business, getting up and above it to create the strategy, it's really helpful to have that external feedback in it as well. So it doesn't just end up being a pretty brochure or a pretty booklet that sits around. So Kristian Livolsi, thank you so much for your time. These hot seats, I love doing these hot seats. I think they're great fun and I love sharing the value. This is our last one for the year. We're wrapping up today.
I know. I'm devastated. I have been saying goodbyes to people all day. I'm now, I think it's my 9th client call that I've been on, advisory calls. And I've been saying to people, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. So to all the people that have followed us on the hot seat, all the people that are in the 0 category today, according to the little eye in the top left-hand corner that I'm looking at. It is now 15 minutes. We have finished. But anyone who watches this, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I know that Christmas isn't a great time for everybody, right? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows. Christmas time is like business. For some people, it's not a great time. And I feel my heart goes out to all of you that have, that don't have loved ones around you this year, that some of you that are doing it tough. Hopefully, we can get to you, or someone can get you. Lucy and I support a whole bunch of families and feed them during this time of year because I know that things are tough, and that's the contribution we like to make to society, but also to the people that do have all of those wonderful things. Think outside of your own environment and see what you can do for someone that might need you. The gift of giving is the greatest gift of all time. There is no greater gift in this world other than love. And to me, giving is a form of love. So Merry Christmas. Thank you for your support in 2022. 2023 is going to be fantastic. And I know that we're excited about what we're doing. Our clients are excited about what we're doing. Simone and I, we are planning potentially our own radio show. So we might actually be annoying you at drive or at breakfast somewhere near you soon. But on that note, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Blessings to you and your family. Simone, I will be speaking to you later, so I'm not going to wish you a Merry Christmas yet. We don't. You guys don't finish up until next week. And everyone will be looking forward to a really cool break ready for next year.
Yes. And thank you for your time and your wisdom. We know our audience appreciate all of the value you share with us every week, and we can't wait to be back in 2023. Enjoy, everyone. We will see you soon.
Bye-bye.